The afternoon sun was a burning gold that sank slowly into the horizon, tinting the sky above Conakry in amber hues. Dust clung to everything, the banana leaves, the tin roofs, the soles of Binta's feet as she danced in the courtyard. With each rhythmic stomp, dust rose in tiny clouds beneath her. The only sound that rivaled her breathing was the echoing heartbeat of Ibrahim's Djembe. He sat under the mango tree, shaded and shirtless, skin glistening from the intensity of his rhythm. His strong hands beat the drum like they knew her body, each pulse rising into the space between them. Their chemistry had long since grown beyond friendship. Now it felt like the very air between them hummed with tension. The dance wasn't for the onlookers. It was for him. Binta spun on her toes, sweat dripping down her temple, neck arched. Her eyes never left Ibrahim's. There was heat in that look, not just from the Guinean sun but from something that simmered between them for years. Her waist moved in hypnotic circles. Her blouse clung to her back. Her breath came hard. And still he played. She moved closer. Each sway of her hips was a question. Each beat of his drum a reply. "You want to kill me with your hips?" Ibrahim teased once she stopped, his voice low, eyes dancing. "If I do, you'll die smiling," Binta replied, walking slowly past him, brushing his shoulder with the tips of her fingers. Her touch lingered like flame. The courtyard was emptying now. Children were called home. Chickens wandered back into coops. The day was done, but something between them was just beginning. Later that night, Binta lay on her mat, sleepless. Her body still buzzed from the drum, her skin still tingled where Ibrahim had looked at her. The way his fingers moved across the gem was the way she imagined they'd move across her collarbone, down her waist. Suddenly a soft knock. She knew it before she looked. "Ibrahim. You're awake?" he whispered through the window slats. Binta stood, heart racing, and stepped outside. The moon was bright enough to bathe the world in silver. They stood in silence for a moment before she whispered, "What are you doing here?" He stepped closer, voice low. "I wanted to hear you dance, just once more tonight." She smiled, letting her fingers trail along his chest, stopping just above his heart. "Only if you play." He led her to the backyard, where a woven mat lay under the mango tree. The night was quiet save for the occasional chirp of crickets and the faint wind in the branches. Ibrahim sat down, the gem between his knees. With a soft roll of his wrists, he began a low rhythm, not the kind for performance but something intimate, raw. Binta swayed, her body following his beat. The moonlight caught the sheen of her skin, her white blouse nearly translucent with sweat. She moved for him alone, her arms above her head, her waist rolling slowly, her eyes half-lidded. It was more than a dance. It was foreplay. Ibrahim's breath caught as her hips came close to his thighs. He stopped playing. "Come here," he said. Binta straddled him slowly, the drum now behind her. Her thighs brushed his. She could feel the heat between them, the ache in her belly, the tension in his jaw. "You're trembling," she whispered, her lips close to his. "You're magic," he whispered back. They kissed like the drum still played, in rhythm, in waves, with soft starts and crashing climaxes. His hands gripped her waist. Her fingers tangled in his curls. And though they didn't go further than breathless kisses and deep embraces that night, both knew something had begun that would not easily end. When she finally pulled back, cheeks flushed and lips swollen, Binta said, "We're more than rhythm, you know." Ibrahim touched her face with reverence. "We're the music itself." And as the night closed in around them and the scent of mango blossoms filled the air, they stayed wrapped together under the stars, their hearts beating like drums, their breaths in sync like a song only they knew. The sun had long disappeared behind the hills, but the heat between Binta and Ibrahim lingered. That night under the mango tree hadn't dulled the tension, it had intensified it. They spent their days as normal. Binta attended classes, practiced choreography. Ibrahim drummed for the children's classes, taught younger boys how to coax rhythm from stretched hide. But their nights became something else entirely. It was a Wednesday when Binta snuck out again. The village was asleep. Dogs barked in the distance. The moon cast long shadows as she made her way barefoot to the clearing behind the school. Ibrahim was already there, his gem beside him, the flicker of a kerosene lamp lighting his face. He looked up, lips curling into a slow smile. "You came." "I can't stay away," she replied, sitting beside him. Their thighs touched. Her skin burned from the contact. He played a slow rhythm, barely audible, more like a heartbeat than music. Binta leaned into him, resting her head on his shoulder. Her fingers found his, entwining. She could feel the thump of his pulse in his wrist, steady and strong. He turned his face toward hers and their lips met again, soft, lingering, a question asked and answered in silence. This time it was more. His hand slid up her back, fingers pressing into her blouse. She responded by wrapping her leg over his, straddling him fully now. The gem tipped and fell to the side. Neither noticed. They kissed until they were gasping, until her blouse slipped off one shoulder, until his hand found the bare skin of her waist. Her body melted into his and they explored each other's edges with mouths and hands, still clothed but barely holding back. "I want you," he whispered against her neck. "Soon," she breathed. "When it's only us. Not here." He nodded, resting his forehead against hers. They sat in silence for a while after that, the lamp flickering beside them. The night was heavy with promise. Conakry was a city of walls and windows. Eyes watched, tongues wagged. It wasn't long before whispers started. Binta and Ibrahim weren't exactly subtle. She was seen laughing too hard when he passed. He was seen tapping rhythms on her notebook. They didn't care, until Binta's aunt confronted her. "You're spending too much time with that boy." "He's not just a boy," Binta said calmly. "He's my partner." Her aunt's eyes narrowed. "Partners make babies. Not futures." The words stung. That night, Binta danced harder than usual, sweat pouring down her back as she moved in the moonlight. Ibrahim played like his hands were on fire, matching her tempo, pushing her to the edge of exhaustion. After the dance, she collapsed onto the mat. He joined her, wiping sweat from her brow. They lay beside each other, hearts racing. "You ever think about leaving here?" she asked. He shrugged. "What for?" "To grow. To be more." "You're already more," he said, kissing her knuckles. But her gaze drifted upward. She was beginning to dream of skies that stretched beyond Conakry, of stages bigger than schoolyards. He saw it in her eyes, the beginning of distance. It was the night of the village festival. Drums echoed from every direction. Lanterns lit the square. Binta danced in a traditional outfit, red and gold fabric wrapped around her body, exposing her shoulders and back. Ibrahim was among the lead drummers. Their eyes met again and again, charged and bold. Later, long after the music faded, he led her by the hand to his father's abandoned fishing hut near the river. Inside, the air was thick with silence. There was a mat, a single lantern, and them. She kissed him first, desperate, slow. His hand slipped under her wrap, finding her bare waist, then sliding down to her hips. She undressed before him, slowly, confidently, letting her clothes fall like petals. He looked at her like she was sacred. When he kissed her chest, her breath caught. When he entered her, they both gasped, two notes blending into one. It was not hurried. They made love like they were learning each other's languages, their moans soft and real, their bodies fluid and full of purpose. They clutched each other, mouths colliding, hips meeting, breath tangled. After, she lay across his chest, tracing patterns on his skin. "I'm yours," she said. "You've always been." The envelope was thin, but the paper inside held weight. Binta stared at the seal, a logo from a European contemporary dance troupe. Her heart pounded. It was an invitation. A 9-month tour. Paris, Brussels, Lisbon. Training, exposure, stipend. Everything she had imagined as a little girl. She showed Ibrahim that evening. His face darkened as he read. "So you're going." "I was chosen." "Don't say it like it's betrayal." "You'll forget me." "I couldn't if I tried." But she saw the fear in his eyes, the storm behind them. He stood, walked away, came back, then pulled her to him roughly. Their kiss was different, more teeth, more ache. They made love like it was a battlefield. Every moan a protest. Every touch a plea. And when it ended, they held each other in silence, the air between them heavy with everything unsaid. The days leading to her departure were steeped in tension. Binta rehearsed at dawn, packed at night, and tried to make space for love somewhere in between. But every moment with Ibrahim felt like it was wrapped in a ticking clock. They would be laughing one second and fighting the next. He became quick-tempered, she defensive. It was love and slow-motion heartbreak. "You think I don't support you," Ibrahim snapped one evening as they sat by the river, legs dangling over the ledge. "I think you're scared I'll outgrow you," she said, arms crossed. "I'm scared I'll lose you." She softened. "You won't. People don't survive oceans," he whispered. She reached over, touching his cheek. "We're not people. We're rhythm." That night, she went to his home, not sneaking in as usual, but walking through the front gate with her chin high. His parents were away. They had the room to themselves. He undressed her slowly, reverently. Her dress slid off like water. She kissed him on the chest, then lower, her fingers tracing every muscle as if she was memorizing him in case memory failed. They made love with aching tenderness, long, unhurried strokes, gasps shared like sacred vows. His hands on her thighs, her lips on his collarbone. Her fingers in his hair, his moan against her skin. Afterward, she lay sprawled on his chest, listening to the rhythm of his heartbeat. It was faster than usual. She whispered, "Promise you'll wait." He didn't answer at first. Then finally, "Only if you promise to return." She kissed his mouth. "Always." The morning of her flight, the airport was chaotic. Binta's hair was braided in tight rows, gold hoops in her ears, her outfit simple but elegant. She looked like a girl stepping into destiny. Ibrahim stood beside her silently, holding her duffel bag. He hadn't said much all morning. His eyes were puffy. He hadn't slept. "I left something in your bag," he muttered. "What is it?" "A drumstick. From the first gem I ever carved." Her lips trembled. "I'll sleep with it under my pillow." She leaned in, wrapped her arms around his neck and kissed him hard. It was not goodbye. It was a declaration. "Write to me. I'll do more than that. I'll dance for you every night." As she walked through the departure gate, she glanced back once, saw him watching. Then she disappeared into the crowd, swallowed by a world she'd never known. Paris was a dream. And a nightmare. The dance studio smelled of polish and sweat. The mirrors were massive, the critiques harsh. Binta trained for hours. Her feet blistered. Her back ached. But her spirit soared. Still, at night, loneliness curled around her like a scarf. She missed the mango trees. The rhythm of Conakry's markets. The taste of spicy fish stew. Most of all, she missed Ibrahim's fingers on her back. His hands weren't perfect, but they were hers. One night, unable to sleep, she slipped into the bathroom with her phone and played one of his recordings. The beat filled the space and she began to move, hips swaying, arms carving through air. She filmed it and sent it to him. The caption, "This body still remembers you." Thierry was French-Moroccan, tall, flirtatious, and assigned as her partner for the winter showcase. His touches lingered during choreography. His compliments bordered on inappropriate. "You move like you were made to be touched," he whispered during rehearsal. Binta laughed it off but felt the heat rise to her cheeks. Later that night, he invited her to his apartment for wine and jazz. She went. He poured. She drank. They talked. He leaned in. But before their lips touched, she stood. "I can't." He tilted his head. "Why?" "I belong to someone." She left, heart pounding, not because she had almost cheated but because she hadn't. Her loyalty wasn't in her words, it was in the fact that her body had said no before her mouth did. Ibrahim's reply came days later. A video. He sat shirtless, backlit by candlelight, drumming. The rhythm was slow, sensual. Then he whispered into the camera, "Play this with your hips. Let me feel you from here." Binta locked her door, dimmed the lights and set her phone on the dresser. She undressed slowly, watching him on the screen. Then she danced, naked, free, her body a vessel of memory and longing. She sent the video, her heart pounding. No words. Just movement. Hours later, a voice message from him, "You just made me lose sleep in my soul." They began exchanging video performances, dances and drums, rhythm and breath, skin and sweat, lovemaking through art. It wasn't physical but it was real. The showcase was a success. Binta received a standing ovation. She should have felt fulfilled. But she cried in the dressing room, hiding behind her makeup kit. "I did it," she whispered to herself. "So why do I feel empty?" She called Ibrahim. "I saw your clip online," he said. "You flew, Binta. I could feel the wind under your feet. I want to come home." "Not yet. Finish what you started." "But what if I lose us?" "You can't," he said. "You're still dancing to my drum." She smiled through tears. "Always." 9 months later, the plane touched down on Guinean soil, and Binta pressed her forehead to the window, drinking in the red earth and the palm trees swaying like dancers welcoming her home. Her heart pounded, not with fear but with anticipation. She had written, danced, called and sent countless videos but nothing compared to being back. Ibrahim wasn't at the airport. She searched the faces, her breath catching with every step, but he wasn't there. Her aunt greeted her instead. "You're taller," she said, pulling her into a stiff hug. "And thinner. You must have danced all your weight away." Binta smiled politely but kept looking past her. Her body itched to be near him again, to feel his hands, hear his laugh, see the look he always gave her when she moved to his rhythm. That evening, after dropping her bags at home, she took the familiar walk to the clearing by the mango tree. The gem was already there. And so was Ibrahim. He stood with his back to her, shirtless, drumming softly, the rhythm low and longing. Her throat tightened. "You didn't come to the airport," she said. "I wanted you to come find me. Like before." She stepped closer. "Do I look different?" He turned. His eyes locked on hers for a long moment. "You look like everything I missed." She closed the distance, placed her hand over his on the drum, and felt the beat under her palm. "I never stopped dancing for you." He pulled her to him with a rough urgency that made her gasp. Their lips met, and the months apart melted in an instant. He lifted her onto the drum, his hands gripping her thighs, and kissed her until they were breathless. They moved to the mat beneath the tree, limbs tangled, mouths desperate. Her dress slid up, his fingers slid down, and they worshipped each other with the reverence of lovers reunited. "Ibrahim," she moaned, her back arching beneath him. "I've dreamed of this," he growled into her neck. They didn't rush. They made love like they were reclaiming lost time, slow, intense, soul-deep. Every sigh was a hymn. Every movement, a memory reborn. When it was over, they lay in the silence, the air thick with sweat and moonlight. "I'm home," she whispered. "And you're never leaving again." She smiled, but her heart skipped. She hadn't told him everything yet. A week passed, and Binta returned to the rhythms of village life, sort of. She taught dance classes at the school and gave workshops for girls who had never seen a ballet shoe. The children adored her. Parents nodded with pride. But there was always that question, would she leave again? Ibrahim avoided asking. But it loomed. One night, they lay together on a thin mattress in his small bedroom, her head on his chest, legs draped over his. The scent of shea butter lingered in the air. "I got another offer," she said softly. His chest tightened beneath her. "Where?" "Barcelona. A fellowship. It's different this time. Less touring. I'd come back every few months." Silence. "Say something," she whispered. He sat up, eyes dark. "Do you want me to clap for you? Pack your bags." "No. I want you to believe we can survive this again." He stood, pacing. "You think rhythm is enough? I think love is. You're always dancing away from me, Binta. And you're always drumming in place." The silence that followed felt like betrayal. She left that night without saying goodbye. They didn't speak for days. Binta poured herself into preparing for Spain. She taught longer hours, moved faster, packed her days so full there was no room for feeling. But at night, in the privacy of her room, she cried. Meanwhile, Ibrahim barely touched his drum. The neighborhood boys asked if he was sick. He just shrugged. His hands had lost their rhythm. Then one afternoon he found the first notebook she had given him, a worn leather journal with a ribbon bookmark. Inside were scribbled messages. "I feel you every time my feet touch the floor. You are the rhythm. I am the motion. Home is not a place. It's your heartbeat under mine." He ran. He found her in the courtyard, alone, rehearsing. "I don't want to be your anchor," he said. She froze. "I want to be your wind." She walked toward him, arms trembling. "Then let's fly together." He stepped forward, cupped her face. "Don't give up on us." "I never did." They kissed like the world depended on it. They made a pact. Binta would go to Barcelona. Ibrahim would open a drumming school for local youth, funded in part by Binta's stipend. She'd come back every few months. He'd join her on tour when he could. It wasn't conventional. It wasn't easy. But it was them. Before she left again, they held a final performance in the village square. He drummed. She danced. The crowd watched, spellbound, as two souls spoke in rhythm. That night, they made love under the stars. No fear, no urgency, just joy. Months passed. Messages were sent. Videos exchanged. Virtual performances became their love language. One day, she called him from a rooftop in Barcelona. "There's a theater here that wants us both." He smiled, gripping his drum. "Then let's show them what rhythm can do." Their love didn't fade. It traveled. It beat. It endured. Because some rhythms aren't bound by distance. They're bound by the heart.